Hey guys, I'm AJ and today I'm gonna do a review on Mufasa. I actually wasn't planning to watch Mufasa for a while. I wanted to stand up for the fact that we have enough Disney remakes and, if you want to make a change in the world, start with yourself sort of thing. And so I wasn't going to go and see it. And then, it has Lin-Manuel Miranda songs. And there was one tiny clip of a bit on TikTok and I'm like, oh, I really want to listen to that song. But I'm not just going to go on Spotify and listen to it out of context. That would ruin it when I actually do watch the movie eventually on Disney Plus, and it will ruin the songs for me. I guess I'll go and watch it. And, so I messaged friends and there was one of my friends who hadn't seen it as well, so that was there because I do like hanging out with those friends in the holidays and seeing movies with them. And hi Waffles. This is my little Simba, or whatever you want to call him. He doesn't really look like any of the cats in this movie. Yes. So I'll start with my spoiler-free review. It was better than I thought it would be. I'd recommend you go and see it. I mean, as long as you don't see the new Snow White, you're good. Yeah, the music was so good. When I'd finished and we're like, okay, now I can go onto Spotify, I was like, oh, that's all. There's the same amount of songs there are in all the other Lion King movies. Maybe there's even one extra song, I'm not sure. But I was still like, but I want more songs! Give me more! And maybe that's because one or two of the songs weren't my favourite style. And I'll get more into that when I get to spoilers, but I have one that is gonna be really hard not to listen to it twice a day at least. And I have it in my head right now. I thought the characters were all done really well. I thought that Scar had a really natural portrayal. In more ways than one. Betrayal and portrayal, yeah, I thought that all the actors, or voice actors and actresses, did a good job. I'm very generous with that though, so you might disagree, you might have different points of view. And I know that these books aren't technically canon, but because of the pride, the Annikaughn and the Lion Guard, because of that. But I'd rather swap the two, swap that out. I'm not a big fan of Kion. I mean, some of the songs are great, but in overall, I'm not a big fan. I love everything Lion King, so I don't hate him, but yeah, I much prefer The Tale of Two Brothers. And the book itself is very hard to find, but you can find screenshots of it, you can find YouTube readings of it, reanimations of it, you can find so much of this stuff, and it's part of a whole series of Copa, so yeah, read this stuff if you're a Lion King fan. That is actually the origins of the most we get of the origins of Scar and Scar and Simba, of Scar and Mufasa, and like even if that book didn't exist and stuff, like this is definitely not the origins of the original. It just wouldn't work as the origins of the original. But it is a good new story, even as a Lion King story. It's just not from the original. So please go into that remembering that. I would hate for this to for this story to ruin the Tale of Two Brothers and make everyone think this is the actual origin story of Mufasa, the actual Mufasa. So yeah, that I just wanted to say that. I want to say, and I want to make this clear, if you don't know, this is not the canon for what happened in the original, okay? If you want to know the origin stories of what Scar and Mufasa were like in the original animation, there's a book called The Tale of Two Brothers, and in this one, Simba is telling the story to Kopa, Simba's firstborn son, older than Kiara. If you can, please avoid the spoilers for this. Please avoid the trailers because they are crazy spoilers for the movie. Like, they're not crazy spoilers, actually, sorry. They don't reveal any twists and turns and stuff. But, at the same time, it's like, there were so many bits that were like, oh yeah, and this is that bit, oh yeah, there's a trailer shot, and I know what's gonna happen next, yep, there we go, that's what happened. Like, there wasn't any bits where it's like, they changed it for the trailer, so that they would make you think this. I'm pretty sure, like, I think there was one line that they didn't have in the movie, and that was it. Everything else was just like in the trailer, and yeah, I mean, I didn't watch all of the trailers, and I regretted seeing as much trailers as I did, so if you can avoid trailers, please do. It'll help you enjoy the movie a lot more, but like, it won't completely spoil the movie if you do watch all the trailers. As for the animation, I did think it was better than the 2019. I'm going to be calling the live action remake the 2019 movie because it was actually animated. It was just animated to look crazy live action-y. So I'm going to call it 2019, because if I call it the other animated one, that's going to be way more confusing. The animation was improved a lot with the facial expressions. Like, when they weren't talking, you could tell what they were feeling. When, for the 2019, it was kind of just like, say something so I can know what you're feeling. And, you know, out of context of watching the original. And yeah, I really enjoyed it. Of course, if you do have freeze shots, and if you look at it too closely, it can be a little bit uncanny, but I didn't find it too uncanny. It's just, I didn't really find it uncanny unless I like really looked at certain bits. It's, when Tucker/Scar is a child, there are a couple moments there where he's making a little bit of weird faces that isn't natural for a cub to make, but the rest of them seemed alright. But that's just me, you know. I think that every animation's good. other people who found it more uncanny than me, and just don't freeze frame any of it. If you have watched the trailers, I mean, this bit isn't a spoiler, you'll know that it's a story that Rafiki is telling Kiara, which is Simba and Nala's daughter, and that Timon and Pumbaa are there as well, trying to chime in, but also listening because they have no idea what the story is about. And it got really annoying. I mean, at the beginning it was cool, and I didn't find anything wrong with Kiara and Rafiki, but there were even bits where they came back in. It's like, why are you here? I don't want to. We don't need another check-in with you guys. I want to know what's actually happening in the actual story. And there were other bits where Timon and Pumbaa would interrupt, and it's like, this is not Lion King 1.5. This is not working. Stop trying. Lion King 1.5 did something that no one else can ever pull off. You two are not worth it. I mean, I understand why they have. I liked them in the 2019 because they had a slightly different tone of humor than they did in the original, and it would be really, it would make the 2019 even worse if they had the exact same humor as the original, because otherwise it'd just be like the same jokes again, but off, like most of the movie was. So it was nice in the 2019, but here it's just the jokes that we have heard are from the like all right jokes are in the trailers, and I've already heard them and I'm done with them. And the rest of them aren't good. And so, yeah, Timon and Pumbaa really get on your nerves, and I'm not the only one saying this. Every single review that I've watched so far mentioned that, and I guess I haven't watched that many reviews, but most of them were positive, and they were still like, Timon and Pumbaa, shut up. So there was that. And now I think that I'll get into the spoilers, and I know that I'm giving maybe a lot of praise, and the reason why I'm getting into spoilers now is because when I do the things that I want to change, I like to be specific. So, this won't make any sense if you haven't watched the movie, so here's the spoiler part. The storyline was very fast-paced, but I really liked Tucker. From the moment he was introduced, I'm like, yeah, keep going, yes, he is so much fun. And he's so playful, and it was really interesting that his dad was just like, let's eat Mufasa, and he's just like, nah. And he's just so playful and so happy about the whole situation, and it's just like, dude, your new best friend is they're talking about eating him, and he's just like, do. It was like, what? But then when it was confirmed that he was not gonna be eaten, I loved Tucker so much, and then he was grown up, and it was like, oh. And that's one of the other things, it got so quickly from them being cubs to grown-ups. I was kind of disappointed by that, but I guess part of the story is, all of the story is them as adults, so it's gonna happen, I guess. I really loved the opening scene and how it was able to transition from Mufasa going from hanging out with his parents to, oh yay, it's raining, and playfulness to, it's a flood. it was actually kind of nice transition, even though it went really fast. It felt kind of natural, and sometimes it can feel like life is going that fast. And I liked the thing about the flood. I liked that it wasn't, because like a lot of the time with Lion King things, it can just be, there's hyenas again, or there's a stampede again, or there's an evil lion again. Like, it was nice to have a new threat of water or a flood, even though that wasn't in there that much. There was still an evil lion. But the evil lion in this, that's another thing, was also really good. I found him really interesting. I know that some people found him goofy with his song especially. I thought he was good. Like, goofiness is fine. He kept talking about how Mufasa, like, killed his son, and I kind of missed that scene where he killed his son. Maybe they should have focused on this was his son lying in the dirt looking dead or something. I don't know, maybe I'm just not very good at being focused during movies or something. But yeah, I was kind of confused by that. I did remember there being 2 males, but, well, like, more than 1 male, but that was about it. And I liked that they like felt evil and compelling and threatening, and it felt like a good reason for the whole of the Pride Lands, like the animals as well, to you know the prey animals as well, to all team up and attack. And like that's the thing as well, the prey animals, like a lot of the time in like the original in the original Lion King and things like that, there's characters like Timon and Pumbaa and Rafiki and Zazu, where they talk and act like, you know, Simba and everyone else. But then all the other prey animals were just like, you know, didn't say anything. They were just like animals, you know? And they were just kind of background, like trees sort of background, you know? But these guys could actually talk, and they're not just like talk and sing, but like they were part of the story and they talked. Like there were some bits where like you guys can talk, right? Like when there was still some bits like that when like Mufasa was in the water with hippos. It's like, isn't any of these hippos gonna say, "Are you okay?" or gonna say, "Let's eat them"? I don't really know too much about hippos, but I feel like they would say something about this random cub in their water. Like, I'm pretty sure they're pretty territorial. And there's like one bit where it's like they're jumping on the hippos and they're just like, okay. So there's still bits where it's not perfect, but I did like how the other prey animals were, you know, animals other than lions were doing stuff and had more of a presence, rather than just being like, oh, we have a new king who's going to eat us. I have some sudden feeling to go towards the Pride Rock. Yeah, there's monkeys holding up the king. Speaking of monkey, He's not a monkey, he's a mandrill. I know that he's a mandrill because in the 2019 it looks so awkward how he's, you know, sitting all the time, and he's got the, you know, he walks on all fours, and he, I'm talking about Rafiki here. He walks on all fours, and he has this short, stubby tail, hardly has a tail at all, and it's obvious that in 2019 he's not the same as he is in the original. In the original, it's kind of unclear about whether or not he's a mandrill or a baboon, but it's mentioned that that he's a baboon when he's talking to Simba, and he's like, you are a baboon. And I forgot what the exact line, but he, but like, he doesn't straight out say he's a baboon, but he's definitely a baboon in the, I forgot what it's called, but it's fair to make the assumption that he's a baboon, and he is a baboon in the original. But in 2019, he is definitely a mandrake, and in this one he looked the same, and then they started calling him baboon, and like, what? No, he is a mandrill. He better be a mandrill. Like, what are they doing? They don't even know his species. And then he says, like, after the third time of them calling him a baboon, is like, I'm a mandrill. And it's like, okay, so you know that. You know your species, but you never corrected them? Like, I get you're easygoing, but that's your species they're talking about. And that's the other thing, like, he was so easygoing and so happy the whole time. Like, most of the time it was funny, but there was some bits are, like, extreme a bit, you know? When the white lions are attacking everyone in the Pride Lands, he's just going do-do-do-do-do, acting like absolutely nothing is happening. And that was funny when, Simba and Scar were trying to hunt him because, you know, it made sense. It worked, you know? It made them stop wanting to hunt him. But, like, dude, you need to defend yourself a little bit. You gotta, hold your own a bit. You're making everyone else do the work. And it was also, like, he says a line about, and so begins the path of destiny. And it's like, wait a minute. Do you know what's gonna happen to Taka/Scar, that he's gonna betray them? Like, shouldn't you do something? I know the destiny is destiny, but come on, man. Care about your so-called brother, Simba. I mean, Mufasa. And I did like that they addressed that Mufasa means king. But then I was curious about what Melene means. Melene? I can't say it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna look it up. But I really was so sure that they were going to reveal that it meant, like, paradise or something. And then when that turned out to be the Pride Lands, I'm like, okay, does that mean Pride Lands in Africa? African? Sorry. But they never reveal what that means in African. And so I'm kind of confused by that. I really liked Sarabi. Her character was good. I really liked Scar's father. He had basically exactly what he had you know, exactly the sort of lion that we have out in the wild. Like male lions really do just nap all the time, and they're okay too because they're stronger than the females. But the females do all the work in the actual hunting and stuff, and the males just kind of sit around and get all the meat given to them, and, you know, get old until another younger, stronger male comes in and kills them. And so he had every right to think that Mufasa was going to do that, because that is what happens in the wild. Except for the fact that Mufasa was not going to do that because he is tiny. So in the wild, he had every right, but at the same time, he had like 3 males with him. It's like, that's also not like the wild. There's like 2 males in a real pride at most, from what I know. And so there's that. But I thought he was really good in the way that he wasn't like cartoonishly evil like the actual villain was, but he also wasn't a perfect father, and he felt like he had some rationale to his evilness, you know. It made sense, the decisions he was making. It wasn't just, I am doing this because I am angry dad. So I felt like all the characters did well. There was no character that seemed, you know, I mean, Timon and Pumbaa were annoying, but they still seem like they're same characters from the 2019. Sarabi had a good character as well. She didn't just seem like the girl or the love interest, you know. Zazu was annoying, but he served his purpose, and he was fun and good, and Rafiki wasn't annoying. He was in there a bit too much for my liking, but he also did seem like Rafiki. Yeah, he was in there too much, and I wanted to see so much more of Taka and Mufasa together. I wanted to see so much more Taka. I did not know how much of a Mufasa movie this was really going to be. And once it got up to when Sarabi and Zazu were introduced, it got to a bit where it's like, okay, you guys are great, but can we just get back to Taka? Where's Taka? Is he still here? Yep, he's there. Okay, now he's singing. Oh, he's gone. Where is he? Oh, he's talking. Yes, oh, he's gone. You know, it was just like, I wanted that the whole way through, and there was a big break between it all. And then his bit where he like turns to the dark side felt nice and natural, and I really liked it. And his song where he sings about how he's feels betrayed by his brother, like, that was such a compelling song, and I was just like, yeah, I get you, mate. Yeah, he was really good. I just wanted to see, I wanted a whole movie of Taka, you know, of Scar. You know, I didn't want a Mufasa movie. I mean, nothing's wrong with Mufasa, but he was, and he did have more than just, I'm good, I'm the good guy, I'm the king. You know, he had some story to him. He had some character. He had some talents with his sniffing things and being really good at smelling stuff and tracking. And that was cool. And the way that he also wanted to guide the animals, and I really liked that, and the way he tried to ask for friendship out of all the animals. But at the same time, it felt like maybe he should have had a reason to believe in the other animals so much. Like, maybe they should have had a a scene at the beginning where the giraffe helps him at one tiny point at the beginning, a giraffe I mean, and that's it. Like, in the flood, everyone else is running away, no one's trying to help him, which is fair because it's a flood, you gotta get away as well you can, but still, it was like, it felt like it kind of just came out of nowhere, but it was fine. That's just the tiniest nitpick. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I've got to say. I know I've said a lot of negative things recently, but those are just, the negative things. I expected this to be like a 6 out of 10, or a 7 including the songs, and I guess it's like an 8 out of 10. Because it feels like a 9 out of 10 at the moment, but I know that's just because I've just watched it. So yeah, 4 stars, 8 out of 10, my brother would say that that's 3.5 out of 5, 5 stars, or something like that. I'm not good at percentage, but he compares stars to percentage, and even after that, he's quite brutal with his reviews on Letterboxd, which I find quite interesting. He was not a fan of The Lion King, so that was disappointing. Anyway, I really enjoyed this movie. I recommend you should go and see it. Tell me in the comments what you thought down below. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.